So I wanted to go over a couple of the problems from yesterday from the practice quiz that were commonly missed. And so we're going to start with the one here. So for this one, we want to isolate our radical. So I'm going to start by subtracting that 4 to move it over. So I have by itself my square root of 3x minus 8. And because it's a square root, to undo it, you want to square. So on both sides of our equation, we're going to square to undo the radical. And over here, we want to make sure that we're writing this quantity twice so we can see what that value is when we multiply it all out. 3x minus 8 just comes out from under the radical. So remember, if you're squaring a square root, you get what's underneath. And here we need to distribute each term, so we're going to FOIL it. First outers, inners, last, making sure we multiply each one. And over here, we're just going to leave our 3x minus 8 to combine our like terms on this side. And we are left with a quadratic, so we want to make sure we have it equal to 0. So I'm going to move everything on this right side of the equation over here. Again, we want our a to be positive if we can. It makes it easier when we are factoring. If we can factor it, and this one we can. So we'll see that in a second. So we get our x squared minus 11x plus 24 is equal to 0. So over here, I'm going to do a side note. Do we have two numbers that multiply to positive 24 and add to negative 11? And those two numbers are negative 3 and negative 8. So again, they multiply to get positive 24. When we add, we get negative 11. So we can break this up to the factored form. Set each to 0 and solve. Positive 3. And so x will equal 8. And so you can see our two solutions here that we find. And now we do want to check, because there is the possibility that we will have an extraneous solution. So let's do a little side note over here. Let's start with x equals 3. So does 3 equal 4 plus the quantity square root? 3 times 3 minus 8. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 8 is 1. 3 does not equal 5. So 3 is extraneous. And let's check 8. And so we have 8, does that equal 4 plus 3 times 8 minus 8? So you're going to get 24 minus 8, which is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So this one does check. So 8 is the only actual real solution because the 3 ended up being extraneous. All right, and then the second one I wanted to go over was this one here. It's a little bit longer to do. We have our double radicals. So what you want to do is make sure that you have one of the radicals isolated on one side of the equation. And we have the square root of x plus 35 isolated. So I'm going to go ahead and just start by squaring both sides. And just like with the last one, we have two terms in this binomial. So we want to multiply it twice. And then the x plus 35 just comes out of that one. And so again, we're going to multiply each one here. We get 9, 3 times 3, and then we're going to get 3 square root of 8, or excuse me, x plus 8. And again, 3 times the square root of x plus 8. And then when we multiply the square root of x plus 8 by itself, that comes out. And over here, we just bring down the x plus 35. And now we need to combine our like terms. So 9 and 8 give me 17. I have 6 groups of the square root of x plus 8. And then x here, I forgot to just put it over here. And so I want to now, notice I have a radical still left. So what we want to do is look at this radical and move everything away from it. So we need to, again, isolate our radical. So I'm going to move my 17 and my x from this side to start with. The x's cancel. 35 minus 17 gives us 18. Since this is being multiplied, we're going to divide by 6. That leaves me with the square root of x plus 8 is equal to 3. And then since I have that square root left, isolated by itself, the last part I'm going to do is square both sides to undo square root. And then solve from here. So we get our x plus 8 is equal to 9 minus 8 both sides. And we get our x is equal to 1. Let's check and make sure our solution actually works in the original. No 1 there. So 1 plus 8 will give us 9, square root of 9. And then we'll check the other side. So does that equal 1 plus 35? Square root of that. And then over here, we can go ahead and simplify this down. Square root of 36 is 6. So this one does work. That is our one solution for that.